everybody. Welcome to Proline Daily, the longest-running sports handicapping show in America, coming to you direct from Las Vegas. The NBA rolls on. Baseball in its very first week, full week. Jim, 4-2 for you in the NBA last night. Inner circle winner with the Knicks. Underdog won wire to wire against the Bulls. A situational game of the month on Oklahoma City. They win by 31, and that's a 62-32 NBA run.
Yeah, it's been nice, Dave. Just to be clear, the baseball season hasn't started out great, but I've only had a couple of plays. But that happens. You gotta wait for it to really get into groove. A couple runs through on the teams and the batting orders, and then the pitchers, and get it all going. It's a long season, and we did great last year. We're going to do great again this year. The NBA has been on fire. NBA Dog of the Year goes tonight, $79 at jimfeist.com. I also have a guaranteed parlay tonight, $19, guaranteed 2-0, or the next 10 days are free. Just call my offices right now, 866-546-9467, to get this guaranteed 2-0 guarantee. 10 days are free if they don't win.
I've got 3 baseball plays today. One of them is the free play that I'll give out here on the show. The other 2, a full game play, and my first 5 bet of the new season. Didn't play any baseball yesterday. I just wait for spots to show on my numbers and situational stuff and opinion. And I do have some sides I like today. So now the 2 plays that I've got, the full game in the first 5, $25 for both at 855-472-2577. I feel real good about both these plays. So go get them. $25 at 855-472-2577. Jim, we have a marquee matchup in the NBA tonight. Tie for first place in the Eastern Conference, the Cavaliers and Celtics. Cleveland, 50-27. Boston, 50-27. Something's going to give.
Well, Dave, there's been a lot of talk about LeBron James and Tyronn Lue and all the things that are going on with Cleveland. It's hard to be the champion and not get media scrutiny and fan scrutiny and everything else. But we can't forget that LeBron James is still the best basketball player on the planet until he's not. And he has carried his teams for years. He's a super talent, unbelievable. He is getting older, so that is a valid complaint when they say he's playing too many minutes. And he seems to be playing too many minutes. This is a big game. You don't get very many big games at the end of the regular season in the NBA because they're established, they're in the playoffs. But this is for the number 1 seed. Now, some people are going to say, well, the number 1 seed doesn't matter. Well, maybe it doesn't. It remains to be seen every year whether it does or doesn't. It really gives you that one extra game, and sometimes that matters. So the Celtics are the team that are trying to knock them off of the perch and get that number 1 seed, but the Cavs are still the Cavs. This game is they've got a history of being a little bit lower scoring than normal. The Cavs are 1-9 back-to-back games in back-to-back games on the road, which isn't very good. 6-15 ATS in their last 21 games, playing on 0 days rest. That's not very good either. And the Celtics are rested. Celtics are 4, and let's check the total. I think we're talking about 218, 219. It's exactly 219, 219 and a half. It did open 218 and a half, but so it's ticked up a little bit, and the line is ticked up from 3 or 3.5 to 4 in most places. Personally, I would think it's going to be a competitive game, and there's going to be some pressure on both teams to perform. That's not always the case in the later stages of the regular season, and I would lean to the under in this game, Dave.
I don't have a play on it. I think the Celtics have a good chance to win this, but I'm not going to lay 4 points to find out. What I can tell you is that the sharper money, for what it's worth, and it's not overwhelming, but there's more sharp money on the Celtics in this game. So we'll see how it plays out. I can tell you the sharp money's been pretty good for the most part lately. It's been quite good in baseball. And we'll give you a little info on that as we look at the Indians and Rangers. 2-0 for the Tribe. Come back in the first game after being down 5-0. They get 8 in a row to win it 8-5. Pretty much wire to wire on Tuesday with a 4-3 victory. And this is a good baseball team. Danny Salazar will pitch tonight for the Indians. Salazar, when he's healthy, is electric. The problem with him is he does get hurt, but right now he's healthy, and this guy can flat out pitch. So can Cole Hamels, whose last exhibition game was outstanding. He really looked like he had great stuff. This is one of the most durable pitchers in baseball, and one thing that the Rangers have to be concerned with, though, is his control. It wasn't real good last year. It was the worst of his career, and if that's a sign that maybe all those innings are starting to take their toll, I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. As far as the sharper dollars, I mentioned they have been doing extremely well in baseball out of the gate. More of the sharp money is on the Indians here. Well, this line has moved a little bit. Actually going from the Rangers a small favorite to now the Indians a small favorite at the sharper stores. So take that for what it's worth, but I wouldn't be racing to the window to bet against the sharp guys right now. They're hitting it pretty good. And one thing I can tell you on this particular game, just looking over, the square houses that I track, you're still seeing some minus 105. So basically pick them on the Indians, Rangers at those houses, but the Indians are the favorite. 108, 112, 109, etc. at the sharper houses.
Well, Dave, Salazar is one of the pitchers that got hurt last year, and he wasn't available to the Indians when they needed him in the playoffs in the World Series. They had that 3-1 lead, and they blew it, and the Cubs won the World Series. I believe that Cleveland actually was the better team had they been healthy, which is all part of the game. Injuries are part of the game. But right now, I think Cleveland is first or second best team in baseball, and they're hitting the ball after the getting down 5-0. They're doing pretty well with the bat, and it's tough to bet against them in this spot. Hamels is good, and this is one of those games where they've lost the first two and they want to get one win out of this. So it's a dangerous spot going against. But like you said, the big money, or I don't know how big it is, but they have come in on them.
Wouldn't call it huge.
Like I hear Lucky. Who does he like?
He just wants food. Let me get one other piece of information in this game that I think is worth mentioning. It's not I don't know if Cody Allen will be available tonight. He threw 25 pitches on Tuesday, 19 more on Monday. So, do you want to go 3 days in a row this early? Andrew Miller's also pitched in both games, but he didn't get much usage. 7 pitches last night, 14 the night before. I do factor that in. I don't really like it, even on the Indians, with Miller likely available. I don't like playing on teams where their closer might not be available. And I obviously have no idea what Terry Francona is going to do if it's a close game and they're ahead late. But being that Allen has pitched the first 2 games in this series, wouldn't be surprised if he is not available tonight. That does kind of get me out of the game.
Who would be their next choice, Dave?
I think Miller. I think Miller would probably close because he's pitched both games, but he only threw 21 total pitches, and he's got pretty much a rubber arm anyway. Right. Beyond that, I don't know. Brian Shaw, I suppose, he pitched last night, but he was out there for a very brief amount of time. Let's see. Shaw threw 8 pitches last night, so he's certainly available.
Dave, you mentioned that you have a first five bet going today.
Yep.
As an educational moment, maybe you can tell the folks out there why you would make a first five bet as opposed to an entire game bet. I mean, I know the reason, but maybe it's educational.
I don't like the bullpen at all on the side I'm playing. It's a bad bullpen. It's one of the worst in baseball. And to me, the starting pitcher is where it's at for me in this game more than anything. And I do think they'll get their share of hits off the opposing team starter. But I don't want to be blowing a lead late. And this is one of those teams where there's some teams in baseball that have bad bullpens, and I would recommend them as first five wagers only. If you're handicapping on the starting pitching, then you've got to basically be looking at 6 or 7 innings tops in most cases. And if you want to get stuck with, you're going to have to pay a little penalty because it's mostly a lot of 20-cent lines out there in first fives. But to me, it's worth it, even if that's the case.
Well, give me an example of how bullpen, and it can work if you're on the opposite side also. Like Tampa Bay last night, they had a misplay early where the outfielder lost the ball in the dome, and they got, the Yankees got some cheap runs. They took a lead late, and of course now when you bring in the Yankees bullpen, you're about dead.
That's it. I mean, on the Yankees, to me, a first five play on the Yankees is kind of silly because in almost every game they're going to have the bullpen edge. It's not that difficult to, it's early this year, so you can't really go on the bullpen stats yet. But if the personnel is largely the same from last year and it was a good bullpen, then I don't generally look at those teams as first fives. If it's a team that had problems with the bullpen last year and they haven't fixed it, then I'll go first five in their situation. So pretty easy to figure out who they are.
The opposite point of view, though, I was trying to make there, Dave, is if you're going to bet Tampa and you know that you're going to face that bullpen late,
right?
You might be better off looking at the first five with them.
Exactly, same thing.
It's the opposite. You're going against the super bullpen, or you have a super bullpen. Right. It changes. So that's why the first. Now, how many years have the book's been taking first five, Dave?
It's been a while now, and I've gotten more into it. Second half of last year, I'd say half my plays were first fives and did pretty well with them.
There's so many different ways you can bet baseball. I mean, you bet the team's total over or under.
Yeah, I'll give you one not to bet. It's a bad bet. Mathematically, it's a bad bet. You get killed in the line for the most part. It looks tempting, but it really isn't. -1.5.
Yes.
Sucker bet.
Yep.
Plain and simple, it's a sucker bet. Oh, I can get this team, they're way better, and I can get +140 and -1.5.
Well, here's an example. You got Boston with Sale. There's interesting line movement on this game. You got Boston with Sale. Let me double check this darn thing. My cursor just went dead. But over here, they opened 200 or 190. There's been money on Pittsburgh, and that's not necessarily meaning that Pittsburgh's the better team or anything, but the value was quite high at the 200 number. So
I wouldn't disagree with that. I think that the number was a bit high. I didn't play the game,
but look at it, the -1.5 on Boston. Now, if they're ahead, you got to remember something. If they're ahead, they're not going to bat in the 9th inning. So you got the home team laying 1.5 plus a quarter, but you're giving up one at bat or 3 outs. You're only getting 24 outs if they are in fact ahead. And by the price, you would figure they're going to be ahead. So you really need to think about doing that.
The option is, and I don't like doing it that much, and I probably won't on a regular basis. Once in a great while, I'll play a -1. And if you don't have a -1 available, you can create one by playing half your play on the money line and then half your play on the runs line. So if they happen to win by 1, it's a push. If they lose, obviously you lose, but you lose less. And if they win by 2 runs, you win a little bit more. So that's the way to play a -1. I don't do it much, but it's there if you want it.
It's not a bad idea. I mean, really, It really is not a bad idea.
I like big favorites, I guess. I'm not a big favorite player. And I'll give you a real simple reason I'm not a big favorite player. The Padres are the worst team in baseball by a claim. But they're going to win about 60 games. They're only going to lose about 100. Now that sounds, well, they're going to lose 100 games. That means they're losing less than one out of every 3 games. Now, it's not like the Cleveland Browns in football, who are the worst team, and if they're lucky, they'll go 2-14. The Padres are still going to win 60 games. So if you're out there taking your chances laying $2 and $3, because, oh, that looks easy, like it did last night for people. I mean, a ton of parlays. I can tell you it was a good night for the books in baseball, because the parlay players and the runs line players were on the Dodgers. And not only did they not cover the runs line, they didn't score a run. They still can't hit lefties, apparently. And they lost the game. That was a very good game for the books. It blew up just about every parlay out there.
But your point is excellent, and you're right. But if you are going to play a team like the Dodgers at these big prices, a parlay is about the only way you should do it. You can marginalize that big. All the book is able to do by having these prices so high is limit the payout to you on a parlay, because you're laying such a big number.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, though. Time has shown the people who win in baseball on a consistent basis are those playing small favorites and underdogs, because that's where the value is. And baseball is a very value-driven sport, because there's no point spread involved. And, I think more so because there's no point spread involved, and it's a pure money line play.
I go back to an old friend of mine, Jim Barnes.
Yep.
Who was one of the best handicappers ever. Great stat man, numbers guy, very creative. That's all he ever played was small favorites and underdogs.
Pretty much what I do. And I got to tell you, when I get away from it, I think I like this, and I get away from that tendency, I generally don't do well with it. So
right.
I got to tell you, I'm not, and I did it last night, and I paid for it. I thought there was a captain. I got on 2 Captain Obvious sides last night, one in basketball and one in hockey, and you can guess what happened to them. They both went down. Yeah. Captain Obvious doesn't win very often betting sports. We've got free plays every day on a recorded message. The number to call is 888-294-1970. I didn't get to our free play yet. I will in a second, because I've got a very good free play, I think. 888-294-1970.
And you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Jim Feist Sports. Baseball season last year, I was 212 and 160 in Major League Baseball, plus $4,247 for a $100 player. If you're a $500 player, that'd have been about $21,000. You want to sign up for the entire season? It's $1,899, and it's $4.99 a month at jimfeist.com. Get free plays also. I have one up every day. Just text GAME, G-A-M-E, to 25827.
Okay, so I have a free play. This is it. This is really interesting stuff. Charlie Morton has been around the majors for a long time. Sinker ball pitcher, has had, a little success here and there. Last year, he was with the Phillies, and something started to happen that has never happened with Morton before. This is unusual for a guy in his 30s. He was averaging 94 in his best. That was something to see. This spring, and this is almost fluky, Morton, who's 33 years old now, he's been touching 97 in spring training. He's never thrown anywhere near that hard. He's regularly now 95. He's touching 97. It's weird. You can have whatever thoughts you want as to why this is taking place. But I think Charlie Morton's got some value right now, because this is something not too many people know.
That's great information, Dave.
Well, that's why I like to read and chart these guys. The Astros have taken money today against the Mariners, despite the fact that Seattle's got a good pitcher on the mound, James Paxton, who's a very hard thrower himself. He can get out there and touch nearly 100. And when he's healthy, he's a tough guy. But I think there's value on the Astros side here, or there was. I can't say there is now, because the line has gone from Mariners. Mariners open about 108, and now it's Houston like 114 or thereabouts. So maybe a little higher in a couple of spots. So I think the value is kind of gone from this. But I think the Astros are the right side, and they are one of the games I played last night for today. I generally will get my baseball plays out the night before. I think you get more value that way. So that's it on the free play.
You might notice on that, Dave, all that great information. This game opened 9 under 13, and it's now 7.5 over 13.
Big
so
move.
They're expecting a better pitching duel than the original odds makers thought.
Well, and the first 2 games haven't seen much offense. In fact, the Mariners, with their vaunted attack, have scored a total of 1 run. Not exactly off to a sizzling start. So let's see what happens with the Astros. That's it. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to take advantage of the offers, and we'll talk to you tomorrow with another edition of Proline Daily from right here in Las Vegas.
Thank you, Dave.